Imagine yourself on a jagged staircase. There are trees as tall as the buildings of the city around you. Close your eyes and open them slightly once in a minute. That's the face of the sky peeping out of the clouds once in a while. Now block all noise and focus your mind onto faint whispers, the chirping of crickets and the hooting of unseen birds. A slither here, a rustle there, and your heartbeat only. The wind sweeping across endless mountains. The rain suddenly dropping like it was just around the corner always. All of this amidst the clouds. This is cloud walking. Cloud walking in Meghalaya, the land of the clouds. From the city of the Nilachal mountain and the red river, Guwahati, it is just 2 hours of ascending the hills and you enter this quaint town city called Shillong. Shillong, which is known to all the world as the door to the Scotland of the East, is now the capital city of the Indian state of Meghalaya. As it is, the first thing and the last thing that one will always understand and feel about this quaint place is that it is caught between the past and the present. Such a situation is not always a bad thing. This is just one aspect of the many beauties of Meghalaya. From the city of Shillong to the lands of the sacred grove of the East Khasi at Mawphlang is another 2 hours. Mawphlang is a village in the East Khasi Hills district of Meghalaya in northeast India, just 25 kilometers away from the city of Shillong. The word Maw means stone and phlang means grass or moss. Mawphlang therefore means grassy stone. It is one of the many settlements in the Khasi Hills named after the age-old monoliths, groups of which lie scattered across the Khasi, the Garo and the Jaintia hills. The roads meander through naked sun-kissed mountains and open valleys teeming with green and sky and clouds. And once at the site of the grove, the finely paved road begins to descend into a broad plain nearly a few miles in breadth. This is where the 1,000-year-old sacred grove of the East Khasi is located, an ancient eco-monument standing just opposite a model Khasi village created by the government of Meghalaya in order to give tourists an insight into the lives of the Khasi. Covering some 192 acres of land, the Mawphlang Sacred Forest, nestled in the East Khasi Hills near Mawphlang village, has its roots steeped deep in the age-old religious beliefs of the East Khasi, in which forests are regarded as a sacred entity. The local Khasi tribes have been preserving this forest for thousands of years and believe it to be the abode of the local deity called Labasa. The tribal people have a firm belief that Labasa protects this forest and their community from any mishap. The deity takes on the form of a leopard or a tiger and protects the village from harm. To maintain favors or to appease the deity, the villagers make animal sacrifices in the stone temples located within the forest. Local lore says that in 1970, the Indian Army tried taking out some dead wood and trees from this forest. But they were not able to do so, as the cars that had been brought to cart away the wood did not start even after trying a number of times. In the end, the army had to concede defeat and leave the collected wood behind inside of the forest. From the entrance to the exit point on the David Scott Trail, the sacred forest covers nearly 192 acres of untended wild land. Old monuments of stone can be seen cropping up across various parts of the huge forest. Datings have determined that these stone monuments have to have been fashioned at least 1500 years earlier. In old days, the CM of the Hima, or the old local kingdom, used to preside over the regularly held ceremonies inside of the forest or outside it, as the occasion demanded. Part of the sacred forest leads onto a very famous 19th century site of commemoration called the David Scott Trail. David Scott was a British administrator who operated in and around the Khasi Hills for nearly 30 years from 1802 to 1832. The trail that he discovered and then regularly used for his administrative work was later called by his name by the natives. This 16-kilometer trek is also a part of the more extensive horse cart track that Scott also built, which stretches from Cherrapunji to Bangladesh and is also named after him. The current avatar of the trek stretches from Mawphlang to Mawphlang. This road resulted in a war amongst the Khasi people, led by Singh, king of the Khats of Grassy and the British. The British muskets finally defeated the Khasi forces after fighting them for 4 years. Singh occupied the same place of honor among the Khasis as would have Irawat Singh among the Manipuris or Chilarai among the Assamese. Not so far from the entrance is the preparation ground for rituals. The old stone long table that was used for most of the rituals in old days is now broken, but the stones still remain. At a distance lie stones of smaller length where young folks used to wait. Only adult men are allowed to enter the ritual spot. At the heart of the Phlang part, there is a large flat monolith surrounded by 5 groups of small monoliths. The large stone is where the king used to stand during the sacrificial rituals, and small stones were the sites of the sacrifice. The sacrifice inside the forest used to always be a red bull once upon a time. But these days, rituals take place at the hamlets nearby, and the sacrifice made is usually of a cock. Several hundreds of years ago, the Black clan moved from the Jaintia hills to the area now known as Mawphlang. Other clans too joined them, and together they formed what is known as the Mawphlang or the Kingdom of Mawphlang. War came to their doors soon. The Black clan won, but grew weary of being rulers. Then the Black approached a woman who came from Baligaon of Assam and was well known for her wit. This lady, Tna Lingdo Nongsai, was asked for her son to rule over Mawphlang. Tna Lingdo wanted to know the will of the gods. She planted 3 saplings in what is today the Phlang area of the forest. These 3 saplings survived, and taking this to be the word of the gods, she permitted her son to become the king. It is since that day that the Lingdos have ruled over Mawphlang. The first Lingdo king and 4 elders from different clans took their oaths on stone benches which are still present deep inside the forest, to protect not just the people of the village and the kingdom, but also the environment and the forests of the kingdom. Even though one is not allowed to take anything out of the sacred grove, people can freely partake of the fruit inside the forest, making sure that they leave the seeds behind. One can even break off a bit of a honey beehive and enjoy the delicious nectar, but cannot be greedy and take some home. People can, however, carry stream water outside to the meadow for picnic. Fallen trees and broken branches lie on the ground undisturbed, adorned with mosses. Rudraksha beads, considered holy by the Hindus, can be seen lying in abundance on the silent, moss-covered ground of the forest at Mawphlang.